So Q&A then. And this one is specifically for you because not my area of expertise.
Is this about drinking?
No, it actually isn't.
Roly-polying?
No. Question for you from Daniel Connor, one of our favourite
big DC,
Irish players.
Hi Daniel, lovely to hear from you as always.
Please talk us through the ins and outs of kettle hot dogs and anything else beneficial for our diets.
Well, what a question.
How did you discover this?
That a kettle hot dog should be a thing. Well, we was in Malta, and it was Super Bowl time, so I was going to host a Super Bowl party because I love the Super Bowl. So we got a few people around to our room. There was me, PC, Kim, the usual suspects of our friendship. Harriet came around to watch it because she's a big Super Bowl fan. Eagles fan, I think. So I was like, oh. Normally, if I was at home, I'd do hot dogs and nachos and things. And I was like, well, I can still do nachos, just Doritos and dips. And then I thought, what's a hot dog? You put it in a pan on your hob. And I thought, well, a kettle does just the job. So, kettle hot dogs. And obviously at first I was like, that's disgusting, I'm not eating it. By the end of Super Bowl, everybody had a hot dog and it was lovely. What your tea tastes like in the morning after it.
Yeah, remind me to never share with you because I do like a coffee in the morning.
But you need to stay nutritious. You're on long tour, you need to eat. So if you're struggling, guys, and there's nowhere around, have a hot dog in your bag or a toasting machine.
You just described a hot dog as nutritious also. Interesting take.
So yeah, kettle hot dogs.
Okay, next question. A proper question now, from Marie Williams. How do you reset your mind in a game when you've made a clanger in the previous frame? I missed a long black in an early frame recently and feel it cost me the match, as dented my confidence in the rest of the frames.
I think you might be more equipped to answer this one because I think you've got a much better mental game than me. However, I can give an example for me that happened very recently in the Pro Cup with Evan Parker.
Yeah.
I was on a finish and I've just got to roll the red in to leave the other red down the rail, and I just rolled straight off. And as soon as I hit the white ball, I'm like, I've just hit this too hard. It's an absolute clanger. Evan's got ball in hand with a black to put. And then the next frame, I broke dished. And that was I was kind of really happy with that because for me, that was kind of a big deal I just sat there and I sat in my chair thinking, what a stupid bitch.
Yeah.
And I generally did just think, well, it's done now. It's done now. If I let that carry on, I'm done for. So yeah, and it's very, very easy to say that. And don't get me wrong, it's not always easy to do because anyone will tell you, and once you nail the mental side of the game, then you're sorted. And I didn't really. This is one for another time, and probably somebody that's a bit more, of that kind of clinical side of the mental game. But I didn't realise the mental side of the game was such a problem until it became a problem for me. 5 years or 4 years ago and previous to that, I was having a lovely time. I was on the crest of a wave. Nothing kind of really bothered me. I was playing it with a lot of fear. Without any fear. Just go a little bit like Amy Price plays now. So confident and just playing really well, and and you're not worried about anything. Same with Akina's a little bit like that again. She's just the young. They're playing well. They're doing well in comps. They've just got no fear about them. And then 4 years ago, something hit me, and I don't know where from. I don't know what happened, and I just had this air of lack of confidence, lack of wanting to be in the arena, lack of anything, like just a real self, like, oh, I don't know if I could do this anymore, and I don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've fixed that. I think I've just learned to deal with that better. Question from Marie Williams. She's saying, how do you reset your mind in a game when you've made a clanger in a previous frame? She said that she's missed a long black in an early frame, and then it cost her the match as it dented her confidence, and she felt that for the rest of the frames.
Yeah, for me it's about trying to cut out and block out the emotional response and literally just taking it as a one-off kind of bad shot, which happens to us all the time. But for me, if I've missed a ball, And I mean, it's a lot easier to write off if you're playing well and your head's in a good place. If you're already struggling, then it'll get to you more. But if you're able to just, in the moment, take out the emotion of, oh, that was rubbish, or that was embarrassing, because we've all been there when you're on stream, or you screwed a ball straight enough, or sorry.
In there, but not.
But if you can just revert to logic of, it was one bad shot. Say if you're on a break dish, for example, and you're on a clearance and you've played 7 great shots to get to the 8, and you've missed the 8, percentage wise, you've played, what, maths is failing me, 85% ish well and 15% rubbish. In any other form of life, you would be happy with an 85% success rate. Yeah. So for me, it's a lot about blocking out emotion, which I think is a lot easier for me than a lot of women naturally, according to anyone that thinks I've got no soul. But if you can just manage your emotional responses and revert to logic of, it was one shot, the rest of it's good, back to where I was before.
Yeah. I think as well, this sounds silly, but I think Griff said it to me once. I think if you can get this in your head as well, that nothing's changed in terms of, it's still a race to 5, it's still a race to 7. They're still going to get to 5 before you get to 5. That doesn't change. Now, of course, there becomes more pressure the closer they get to that line. But if you can just think, this hasn't changed, I have still got to get to 5. Yeah. And I think, and again, that's so easy sat here saying that, it's so easy, like I said, to turn that emotion off and kind of just become a robot and just think, well, just reset, it's a new frame. And like I just mentioned against Emma Parker, I was able to do that from frame to frame. But then I go back to being howling, so it's very, very difficult to do that. So, but yeah, Marie, if you can find the answer to that, then let us know, because it really is key. If you can just not let your mistakes affect you, then you're halfway to winning.
Absolutely, because if you look at the top men players, someone like Tom, how often do you see him play 2 bad shots in a row?
Yeah, very rare.
I'm not sure I've ever seen it. And Tom's mentality is up there with, obviously he's the best on the table as well, isn't he? But mentally he's obviously very, very strong. And it is just about being able to limit the emotional response.
Yeah. So if anybody knows how to do that, anyone knows what do you call it in Vampire Diaries? Turn off your what do you call it?
What?
You ever seen Vampire Diaries?
No.
Oh, well, never mind. Stop put that bit in then. What did they turn off? Like their emotional. You should watch Vampire Diaries though. It's a great series.
Should I? Yeah. I don't actually watch many series. After you're right in the mood, I read more now.
Well, it was a book first. Or books.
About vampires.
Well, obviously, be a pretty shit title if it wasn't about vampires.
So next question from Riley, the House Island.
Oh, big Riley. What a good lad.
How do you keep so composed in finals?
That's absolutely a question for you.
I'm sure it is after this weekend. Interesting timing. It's just another match. I think for me, obviously, I'm old now. I've been around a long time, so I've done it a lot of times. But again, it's about separating the external environment from the reality in front of you. And it's something I think about not just with the stage of a tournament, but as things keep growing and you've got potentially more and more people watching your streams, live streams, etc. But the reality hasn't changed. It is still a cue and 8 balls to pot on a table. The table's still the same size. The game hasn't changed fundamentally. It's the external environment that's changed. So if you can do it anywhere else, you can do it in a final, you can do it in front of 1 million people. It's just about, again, almost keep going on, but taking the emotional response and the external factors out of it. Can I pot 8 balls to win a frame? If you can do it on an outside table, you can do it on a main table.
Do you think your opinion is potentially a little bit not biased, not blinkered on that though, because you get to so many finals? I would say that you're absolutely right in what you're saying, but I'd also say that for again, people like Riley, who is a great little player, by the way. He's had a great run to the last 16 this weekend in the silver of the next gen, and fair play to those three boys that won that as well. I've watched some of their games, like Connor and Joe. It's unbelievable how good they are. And when people talk to me a little bit about, giving advice on certain things, and I'll always just say, for me, is practicing. Not just practicing like in your pool hall. Go and play different events. The more and more you get used to an environment, the more it become comfortable.
Yeah,
and I think that's the thing. Yeah. So obviously you're saying it's just the same, but I think that's because you get to so many final stages that you're much more comfortable with that than somebody that has never been on that arena terms. Not that it is new. And I remember my first time that I got to a big stage was in Belfast on the IPA, and I was playing Emma Cunningham incidentally, and I lost that final. I think 5-0, 6-0 in about 23 minutes because I just, the TV camera's there, everything's different, and am I a bit more used to it now? Absolutely, just because I've done it for longer, I've done it more. So for me, I would just say as well, just get out there and just play different tournaments, different environments.
Yeah.
And just get yourself used to those situations.
Yeah, and I think there's multiple ways of doing it. I've spoken before, and I spoke to Sophie a lot about this, is about reframing. And a lot of women, for example, don't like playing on a stream. Maybe not as common now, but it does still happen to get nervous. But essentially, if you put on a stream table, it's for two reasons. It's one, people like watching you, or two, you're doing well. Both of those are a positive thing. And you're on a stream table, it's generally the best table in a venue. It's the table where you're least likely to have other tables interrupting you, so you've got nothing to keep you out of your rhythm, to get you distracted, so you're in the best conditions. You might have a referee racking the balls for you, which is great for me because I'm terrible at racking. But it's all about reframing and seeing the positives in why you're out there. And again, if you're in a final, the composure comes from knowing I've done really good things to get here. And again, if for me, obviously, going back to the Pro Series, I've this weekend not been able to replicate my outside table form onto the main table, which is something for me to address. But if you can do it on any other table, you can do it on an arena table. And if you're in a final, then you've had to have some composure. Exactly. There's a reason you're there. You've had the composure to get to through a semi-final, quarter final, etc. It is just one more match.
Easy.